Today, we'll show you our solution for efficient forecasting and replenishment. It's called VERITICO Stock. VERITICO Stock can predict all your future sales by item and stock location, both at the store level and within any distribution network. Doing so, it also helps you optimize your entire supply chain, from sourcing raw materials, supplies, and goods to production plans. VERITICO Stock utilizes sales data from your entire distribution network to create meaningful forecasts and translates them into replenishment orders. The view in the context of the distribution network will show you the flows to your customers through individual branches, stores, and other sales channels. In this way, you can forecast future sales and manage your inventory in an optimized way. The real benefits come from the increase in turnover, better availability of goods, increased profitability, or reduction in tied-up capital. The first step to achieving these goals is to properly understand the composition of your product portfolio. To do this, we use ABC analysis, which should be aligned with your corporate strategy. If your corporate strategy is focused on growth and maximizing sales, you will select revenue. If you are in the profit phase and thus maximizing profit and company efficiency, you choose gross margin. You can easily create balanced segmentation based on multiple parameters. For instance, combining margin and frequency of sales, to balance between your interest, revenue and sales, availability of goods. Segmentation can also be created based on the forecast of your sales, increasing the importance of growing products. Let's take a look at how this all works in practice. The basic principle lies in the setting of criteria for the segmentation. At the moment, this is chosen for the whole company and one glance reveals a relatively small part of the portfolio. In our example, we see some 280 items, which nevertheless account for 80% of turnover. This is a very important part of the whole portfolio as these are A products and so we cannot afford to have any stockouts on them. They must always be available to maximize sales and profitability. Then we have the B products, another 15% of sales. So products in A and B category make up 95% of your performance. Then comes the very high volume group, which represents the last 5%. The last, Group C, are the items that nobody buys and there is no demand for them. We refer to these as dead stock. In other words, items you simply have to get rid of. You can see the same priorities color-coded in all the different parts of VERITICO Stock. That means that the system will tell you if you are working with category A, B, or C. So you can use recommendations based on the priority of the category or SKU. The colors have their own meaning and are interwoven throughout the system. So you can follow a category across the whole interface. You can change the settings anytime and your portfolio segmentation will recalculate accordingly. Step number 2 is extremely important because you set your own availability targets for each segment of the entire company. Availability means how many customers you satisfy at the moment they come to your store. You are also able to see where you will have stockouts so you can prepare accordingly. You can differentiate availability by how the value decreases in your portfolio. So it's not a good idea to have category C at 100% availability, because no one wants to create excess inventory in a product that sells exceptionally or in minimal volumes. Rather, you can put higher availability on a key assortment. This 99.9% setup means that virtually anyone who comes into your store for these A products will always leave satisfied. And you can make it a priority. Compared to your competitors, you can have such a high availability of a key assortment that customers will say so through the entire market, and you will be acquiring customers from your competitors by keeping that promise. You can set these targets arbitrarily through your entire distribution network. So you can pick one location, for example, London, and create specific targets for it. Let's imagine you want to increase sales volume through better accessibility because it's an important market for you. Of course, the system tracks this KPI, So it will show you the expected availability of particular SKUs for every day in the future with future sales. With all these settings, you can constantly check and monitor if your whole supply chain is working well. There are also a lot of different perspectives on supply chain bottlenecks and pitfalls, but we'll cover that in a future video. For now, let's take a look at how the system works at an operational level on a specific item. Let's have a look at the central warehouse on a specific item. We can see a lot of information about the item. We can see the available inventory, we know the priorities, the availability targets, and all the prices, purchase price, stock price, and sales price. We know what's on the way, and what is the customer's demand for the item. The forecast is the biggest value add and the most advanced math of the entire system. The system takes into account all historical sales that are broken down into individual transactions. It automatically cleans the entire timeline of all the extremes. It is trying to take it out of the account before it starts the actual forecasting. It calculates all the historical stockouts, it calculates how long they lasted, and how much you lost on them. Among other things, this calculates how much revenue you lost because you didn't have the right inventory available. Further, the forecasting core determines seasonality of any nature, whether it's Easter or Christmas season or strong seasons for particular industries such as alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages in the summer. It further accounts for this and then applies around 80 basic mathematical methods to this data. For each item, it always selects and trains the method to prepare the best fitting model. These methods are based on both proven mathematical methods and the latest neural networks, including deep learning. However, it is not essential for us to know the chosen method, we leave it to the software to select the most accurate method each day to predict the next period. This is provided in a day, week, and month granularity. On the same level, the system calculates the values for the safety stocks, thanks to knowing its error rate and the variability in deliveries of the suppliers. There is one component that comes in handy in these turbulent times. Events like COVID, war, or market reactions that cannot be predicted. Any black swan that exists that you don't have data on. This part of the system that reacts to unexpected changes in the last days or weeks is called demand sensing. When the system automatically identifies a large increase or decrease in sales, it can then react and adapt quickly to the changed conditions. VERITICO stock can also predict reactions to promotions and discounts. In these cases, this includes calculating the internal cannibalization between promoted and non-promoted groups of products, which means counting the drop in internal items that will not be part of the promotion. All of these important aspects of sales can be factored in on a daily basis, and VERITICO stock prepares for them in calculations of forecasts and safety stock. Let's go back to the item detail. In many cases, you can choose between alternative suppliers. VERITICO stock will help you with the decision by providing suggestions of suitable alternatives. For each supplier, it calculates the real lead time from your data, including its variability. It knows all the purchasing data and even knows the cost of capital locked in your inventory. It knows the minimum order sizes and provides complex rounding, for example per pack or per order pallet layers. What the system actually does is that over time it starts to suggest optimal orders for the periods you have set. So from now on, even 2 years in advance, it will tell you every single purchase order you need to make. You can see that those suggestions respect the start and end of the seasons. So it takes care of everything and you don't have to worry about anything. The important stuff doesn't happen on one item, but when we jump to the central warehouse and look at the purchase orders, I can pick specific suppliers. In the example above, we see a pre-selected consolidation of 2 suppliers from Asia on a specific date. And here, I can see every single item with a specific quantity on each line separately. The order line quantity respects the rounding per package. Here you can see which items we should purchase. You can also see the disparity between the ideal quantity and the minimum order size from the supplier. The user will see a notification of this fact and can thus choose the appropriate action. At the same time, the software works with a priority system, so you can, for instance, prioritize and order A products only if your budget is low. Likewise, it uses attributes such as weight and volume and helps you to automatically load one container according to its size and actually helps you to load any logistics unit quickly and optimally. After your approval, the orders are transferred to your ERP system, or you can export them into Excel files if you need to. Once the order is completed, we know exactly which items are on their way. We know the date when the order is expected to arrive in your warehouse. Therefore, we are able to take this into account in further calculations. So we don't have to order this product, because it is already on the way to be delivered. This completes the circle for us. We refresh the data every day and calculate the forecasts and orders accordingly. Thus the system reacts to all the changes in the entire supply chain from the customer end to the first supplier end. The system is dynamic, so it is constantly learning and looking for ways to be better and better. The entire VERITICO stock system is designed to bring you real savings in the form of increased availability, and therefore increased sales and profitability. Hand in hand with this, it can reduce tied-up capital by optimizing inventory and helping you with the automation of your ordering process. Our customers value the focus on benefits, which comes with a very short return on investment to the software. This is done, among other things, by having a whole set of reports ready for different views across the supply chain, including stock-out evaluation or supplier evaluation. You can use all these aspects in your negotiations with suppliers to track which items have dropped out, how much lost sales and profits, and much more. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.